Hey everybody. My first 3D printer was a Bamboo X1C, and one of the things that I really enjoyed about it was that it just worked and I could focus on the things that I was printing instead of fiddling with printers. I'm getting ready to give a class and needed to get a 3D printer to use for this class, and I wanted to capture some of that just works feeling, but on a limited budget. That's why I decided to go ahead and try this Sovol SV06. I've heard really good things about it, heard that it's easy to put together, kind of splits a little bit of that difference. Sure, it doesn't have a lot of the features of the Bamboo ecosystem, but it also doesn't have the price tag, and it doesn't have some of the baggage that comes with that ecosystem. So, got the printer in, and I thought we would go ahead and see how easy it is to put together together. Let's open this up and find out. Let's start. Get this out of here. Packing material, user manual, and now pulling the power supply out here, I can see already it's set at 230 volt by default. I'm going to try as much as I can to go exactly by the user manual on the install and just what the user manual says. But in this particular case, since I'm seeing this right out the gate, and I know I don't want to accidentally run this on the wrong voltage, I'm going to go ahead and set that. Let's go ahead and get rid of this extra packing material. Looks like a accessory kit going here. Here, there's a lot of packing material in here. They packed this really well. This looks like a display screen, probably. You tell them. We've got our gantry. We'll organize this a little better for everybody to see once I get everything unboxed. Well, that's kind of interesting. Get this box out of the way. This last piece, I was a little bit worried that I'd break something pulling it out, so pulled it out of the box separately. There's packing material that's kind of up underneath the bed, probably to help keep the bed from moving during shipping. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going on there. Pulling that out of there carefully. Now I can just pull it straight out like I expected to. Okay. Now let's move things around so you can see a little bit better while I'm working. And open up the manual. What does the manual say I'm going to need? It does not say doesn't show me I need any tools, so let's find out if that's true. It wants me to start off by removing the frame gantry assembly and base kit from the packaging box and screws from the accessory pack. So let's open up the accessory pack. Oh, this is really nice. This is really nice. So the accessory pack with the screws, they've actually packaged each step into a separate Ziploc marked with which step it's from. So I don't have to worry about which screws are the right ones to grab because the pictures never match up. So now I know I've got my screws for step 1 are in the package that are marked step 1. Let's put this together. Take my gantry here. Got that backwards. There we go. All right. So the gantry I almost put on backwards. This ribbon cable for the controller would have been in the way of the stepper motor from being able to go down if I had put this in backwards. So there's really only one way that it goes. And as I look a little bit closer, it looks like the controller's going to hook onto a couple of pegs that are here in the back as well. So given that, I think I've got it oriented the correct direction now. Let's go ahead and get back. It says, insert the gantry into the groove in the base assembly. Tighten the screws on both sides to complete the installation. Okay, tighten the screws. Do I have something to tighten the screws with? I do. All right. Now, something that wasn't on the list of needed, but that I always try to have handy when I'm working on things, are one of these little Harbor Freight parts trays, because I'm always dropping and losing parts. Let's dig out these Allen wrenches. I don't know which one I'm going to need yet, but we'll go ahead and dig them all out. All right. Let's find out which one I need. There it is. All right, so the biggest one is for those M50s. They do come with lock washers. So we'll need the bolts and the lock washers. Let's get those set up real quick before we start. And I think, going to take a little bit of a side quest from the instructions, and that is, I had somebody recommend that we use a Gridfinity shelf that will go on top of the power supply. And they mentioned that it's really better to put this shelf on the power supply before assembling everything because the way that it hooks onto the extrusion would require disassembly of everything in order to put the shelf on. So I'm going to go ahead and get the shelf pre-fit. The controller's on this side, which means the power supply is going to be on this other side. And I'm just going to take and slip that shelf on before we lock things into place. Maybe. I'm not going to put a whole lot of effort into it if it doesn't just work. There we go. Just had a little bit of extra material getting caught there. this back. Okay, now side quest complete. Let's get these bolts in. Should just go right in. Now, the instructions on this actually say to tighten that. That seems kind of weird to me because I'm used to instructions saying don't tighten anything all the way till everything's together. So I think I'm going to veer from the instructions a little bit, and I'm not going to tighten these, really snug these down until either I come around and snug everything down at the end, or I run into a step that's telling me that I'm going to end up locking this off if I don't snug it down right away. So I'm just going to get them kind of finger tight, just so they'll hold together. Let's move over to the other side. This did come in very few parts. And just a little bit snug. Like the next one. All right, let's take a look now at the instructions, and it says I've got all of them in and I'm ready to go on to the next step. On this page, step 2, it says as shown, pick up control box and assemble it. So let's get the control box out of its bubble wrap. Got pretty good pictures on here. It says insert the side of the control box into the T-buckle on the back of the Z-axis profile. After aligning the T-buckle, firmly press down as shown to complete the assembly. All right, so we'll align it up with these and push it down. There we go. Voila. As described. I'm not sure what I'm wobbling on. I'm wobbling on something here. We'll find that out what that is as we continue on. I think I might. There we go. Okay. I was kind of sitting the edge of the frame on one of these cables. Didn't like that. Okay. Now it doesn't have us plugging anything in yet. It says next to install the camera module. All right, so I found the camera module here. It says remove the camera module and align the notch with the step on the X-axis securing bracket. All right, so we got here. Looks like we've got another set of key elements here, so we will take that and line this up. It says align the camera module with the X-axis bracket, buckle in from left to right, and push to the top to complete the installation of the camera module. Okay, I think oh no, I do not have that installed. It felt like it. That feels right. There it goes. I didn't have it pushed over all the way and it was just going to pop out. Now I've got it. You got to really listen for it to click in. And once that clicks in, we're good to go there. Now it says to attach the extruder kit to the slide base using the 3 M3x8 screws. And the 3x8 screws, it refers to me to the bag for step 2. Get the step 1 bag out of here and move on to the step 2 bag. Has 3 screws. It does not have any lock washers. Looks like these screws, oh, this is going to be an interesting, these screws are going to maybe be a little bit tricky to get to. I might end up having to go get something to help with that. We'll find out here. So the extruder, the control head, there's our 3 holes, and it wants us to line those up with these. I think probably these 2 bottom are going to be the trickiest to get to. So I'm going to try getting those in place before I do anything to block either of them. Let's take this here. I just dropped the 3rd one. Okay, now what I'm going to try doing is just barely thread the first, so I'm not pressing the second too much. Okay, that bit in. Now we'll come up, and I did it. I pulled the second one out. Did exactly what I was trying to avoid. There it goes. Got that one threaded in. And this 3rd one should be nice and up in the clear. It is. Now I can finish biting down all 3 of these. That looked like it could have been a little hairier than it was. We'll chalk up a win here. The other thing I'll notice is there does not appear to be any type of a concept of spares in here. So if you drop one of these screws and it gets away from you, you might be out of luck. All right, we got those. Now it says align the nozzle kit with the 3 holes, lock it in. We're good. We've got that plugged in. I think we're ready to move on to the next step. Remove the touchscreen from the package and locate the machine's right side. Attach it to the bracket and slide it into the groove. Okay, there's there. Slide in the groove. Oh, all right. It says slide it in the groove, but when I look into the steps here, it shows it getting plugged in before it's all the way secured. I bet you that's going to be easier to do it that way. So let me go ahead and go with what the pictures are showing over what there. Yeah, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight this when I've got the module already pressed into place. There we go. So we got that ribbon cable plugged in. There's an arrow. There's an arrow on the back of the ribbon cable. That's gonna come out here. So you're going arrow to arrow. Unless, of course, when I start this up, I find out I've got it wired backwards. All right, we pressed the touchscreen down along the groove and secured it in the groove. It says golden side of the screen cable needs to be installed towards the plus sides. Well, we're good, okay. And they had a little reminder here as well in the instructions that you need to press in the tabs on the cable if you want to take the cable off. Now it says install the power supply to the left, profile the gantry with the two M4x20 screws. So I'm already to parts bag 3, the step bag 3 of the 4. This again has two M4x20 screws in it. It does not have any lock washers to lose. Take that, let's find out which of the Allen keys. All right, first try. And we'll grab the power supply. I'll look at the power supply. Power supply is going to have a switch that they show facing outboard. The other important thing here is that there's two screw holes. Basically, the side with the name plate is what's going to go against the gantry. Let's come over here. Okay. I need to move this shelf up so that it's above. I've left my clearance for the power supply. And in the extrusion, there are two screw holes here. And that are large enough for the head of the screw to pass through it and not protrude when we're done. So I'm going to give a little bit of pressure against this to hold it. We'll bring that screw in. Oh, no, I thought I bit. It did not bite yet. All right. Okay, we are set, I believe. Let's find out. It says to align the mounting holes, secure in place by tightening screws. It still has not told me to plug anything up in yet, so I'm going to resist the urge to start plugging things in. Okay. Now it says install the rack barrel. So we've got rack, barrel, this was in the accessory box, and our step 4 bag of screws. Let's go ahead and get them out and available. It says install the rack barrel, attach the rack plate to the top of the machine using M10. Okay, so it looks like this part of the rack facing the front of the machine. So there's the front of the machine. That looks to be, This picture shows, oh, look at that idea. This picture shows the back of the machine. When the back of the machine is facing you, the rack faces to the left. So if I put the back facing to the left, this is, there we go. Flip that around, I think. Yep. This is the filament sensor, and it needs to be on the side where the filament's going to be. So if we come to the back, faces to the left. Let's grab our 2 screws. There, that fits. Back facing to the left. Drop the first one in. Started. That started, good. Let's finish getting that button down. Okay. Get that button down. And it's time to go up to that barrel. Probably good to note that I did kind of go a little bit out of order here from what was listed in the instructions, because I didn't put the barrel on before I put the rack on. But honestly, I didn't want to have to deal with it poking out while I was dealing with it. There's a little cap that doesn't get called out in the instructions, but there's a picture of it, and it was in the accessories bag. And that is going to get used right here to secure the filament. There we go. And that fits on there nice and snug. Okay. I think we're ready to move to the next page. All wiring connections on this machine need to be turned off before plugging and unplugging. And it has us plugging in all the connectors. So we'll kind of work our way around. The Z1 connector is such. There's the Z1 connector. It's hooking right out there. These are keyed, so while it is possible to plug them in wrong, you'd have to force it. Okay, it's the Z1 connector. Now it has us doing the Z-axis motor connector. Okay, that's connected, that's connected. This is connected. Filament sensor. Let's see. Oh, look here. There is a piece of tape on the back here, hiding out. That's got this filament sensor connector was hiding out back there. A little sneaky. Get plugged in. Good. Okay. The display. We've already got the display plugged in. The Z2 connector here. Another one that's kind of hiding down there. Got that. Take care of. Good. Power connection. All right. Do have a keyed connector here. I appreciate keyed connections. Assuming they wired it up right at the factory, that key should help keep me from doing it wrong. And let's see, got a wire here. From the camera, if we look here at the Z-axis, there is, it's almost camouflaged a little bit. And we'll get that plugged right in there. Okay, and I've got one last connector sitting loose, it looks like. Let's find its mate. There it is. All right, so coming down from the gantry, was kind of tucked in underneath the display. I'm not sure if they tucked it there or I tucked it there when I was putting things together earlier, but it certainly was tucked away. Let's get this connector together. Good. All right, quick look around, and I believe I have no more wires waiting to be connected. All right. Okay, it says I'm done now. On the bed here, it does say, please use after removing foam from the bottom of the bed. Okay, so we've got some additional packing here that used to keep this immobile during shipping, but they want us to remove before we turn this thing on. Okay, that's pulled out. And that means I believe we are ready to get the power cord out of the accessories box and see if it'll start up. Okay, power cord in here. I did already change to 115, but if you didn't already, make sure you do that, or 230 if you're not in the region that uses 115. Plug this guy in. And let's see if we let out the magic smoke. That's good. It says we will get tap start. I want to set my language to English. Now it's prompting me for network join. Let me hit refresh here on this. There's Wi-Fi refresh. I'm going to go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi network. Click connect. It says connecting. Still says connecting. Well, that's taking a while. Here it comes. Interesting. Let's try this again. Doing something different now. Now it's going to let me, now it has an IP address, it's connected to the network. We'll click next. It says the self-check process is about to begin. Please place the machine flat on the table to avoid affecting self-check results. Self-check will take approximately 15 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and click start. And we will wrap up this video now. Looks like it was a pretty easy install process. We'll see how it works and we'll catch you on another video. Bye everyone.